Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you for signing on to listen to the celebration of Poetry Month and Earth Day. This session is in part to replace the 5 readings during the month that I was scheduled to do, often in conjunction with poet friends, which, because of the difficult times we are now living, we had to cancel. Some of us believe, though, that in times like this, we need poetry, music, and art even more to celebrate the human spirit and the world we live in. Hence this 15-minute or so video. I will be reading poems mainly from my third collection, Extinction, published last year by PRE Publishing, and from a fourth collection I recently completed, Extinction Rebellion, that is still seeking a publisher. I will do a separate reading of a few more very recent poems that might form the basis for a chapbook or a new collection entitled Poems for a Pandemic. So with that introduction, and to celebrate Poetry Month, I would like to start out with an appropriate poem called My Poems Grow Like a Tree. My poems grow like a tree. Ideas germinate in the mind's fertile soul. Tonal words with meaning emerge and like fresh shoots sprout into rhythmic lines. New thoughts, new directions spread their roots, their tendrils. Lo, a metaphor forms, a freshly budding bough, and an image blossoms like a fragrant flower. Alliterations buzz like summer bumblebees in my ecstatic ear, a perfected picture with transcendent music, painted with few words. The 22nd of this month happens to be Earth Day, and much of the poetry I had been writing until the COVID-19 virus appeared was in celebration of our planet, and to deplore the ways in which we are degrading it, our fellow species, and ourselves by our actions. Indeed, as my more recent poetry brings out, I see the emergence of this epidemic as in large degree a response to that. So next I will read a few poems from Extinction, which, by the way, you have a free can get a free book ebook version of it during this month if you email me at g.atralier@gmail.com. So first a poem called Witching Hour. Is this the witching hour, the turning point, when the simmering seas boil, spill across the cauldron's brim to flood this verdant earth? Corpses of frogs and fish, seals and birds, our detritus, plastics and rotting hulls, wash up with the silt to bury my feet. Is this the witching hour, the turning point, when wildfires spread raging across the land and consume forests and fields, roads and towns, killing with burning heat and acrid smoke all life they find in homes or barns or nests, or frantically fleeing the fated end? Is this the witching hour, the turning point? We know damn well it is, but do nothing. We continue our hedonistic lives, complicit in destroying our one earth. So next I will read the poem that gives this volume its title, and it's called Extinction. I can picture the mighty mastodon, the towering ivory hairy beast that ruled and roamed this primeval earth, the fierce dinosaurs of the Jurassic, those huge cold-blooded reptilian beasts hurtling each other for primacy. Through the microscope of my failing mind, in the imagined black hole of creation, I see tiny single-celled organisms, the chemical precursors to all life. I ask, when humankind is no longer, who or what will conceive this strange being that destroyed Earth and all life, including itself, as if it had been preordained? So some of you know that I spent almost a year in Japan many years ago working at the Expo 70. While there, I started experimenting with haiku and continue to write often in that form. I love its terseness. The poet uses very few words, 17 on or syllables, to capture a feeling or paint a picture. So here's one called Polar Ice Cap, and I know haiku don't have titles, but since I include them in a collection usually with other poems that do, I usually use a phrase or line from the poem to identify it. So polar ice cap. The polar ice cap is thawing into the sea. Turn on the AC. Now, in both Extinction and Extinction Rebellion, I include a lot of what I call my beastie poems. These are poems about our fellow species, often lamenting what our actions are doing to them. So here's one entitled The Dragonfly. I found a dragonfly lazing on our screen door, a great blue skimmer spreading its filigree wings, flaunting its dazzling long lapis abdomen, soaking up the warming grays of the noonday sun, oblivious to its Jurassic ancestry. I wonder, will my friend's descendants still be here 150 million years from now as we disrupt the equilibrium of Earth, insect outliving cocky Homo sapiens, the destructive devil of the Anthropocene? And I will read one more poem from Extinction now, and this one takes a mile-high view of what we are doing here on Earth. It is entitled Hitchhiking in the Galaxy. I wrote this poem with a deep bow to Douglas Adams. 1 trillion plus pounds of conscient human flesh have hitched a ride on this rock in the Milky Way, hurtling through a dark and dangerous universe. With uncaring greed in the human pleasure quest, this palpitating mass ditches its detritus, polluting the globe's precious land, water, and air necessary for survival of life on Earth. Mankind will not need that guide to hitchhiking in the galaxy, for we are the unwitting architects of our own destruction. And now for a newer poem, this one to be included in Extinction Rebellion, and this one takes the perspective of different species around us, wondering about their fate. Will I still be alive? I am the sinewy buck that stalks through the forest. I am the vicious wolf that bears its incisors. I am the wide-winged eagle that soars above the land. I am the hummingbird that buzzes the bee balm. I am the sockeye salmon that salts up waterfalls. I am the princess frog that jumps in the water. I am the cicada that plays the night fiddle. I am the mosquito that bites you and your friend. I am the vile virus that causes you to die. I am the foul maggot that eats carrion flesh. Will I still be alive after your killing kind? So I will follow with a short poem from Extinction Rebellion called Clean Water. Clean water, so vital, so scarce, I die of thirst. So before this pandemic changed all our lives, I was traveling to Vienna twice a year on business and loving the visits to the art museums and concert halls there. The Albertina House is a part of the former Habsburg collection, and in fact is the largest collection of Albrecht Dürer's works. So the last time Marcia and I were there, we were lucky to catch a special once every 10 years show, which brought out some of the rare works in that collection, including a Dürer masterpiece called The Young Hare. So the following beastie poem was inspired by that work of art. The Hare. Albrecht Dürer's perfect young hare has lived more than 500 years, admired in royal collections and now in the Albertina. It survives with our loving care. But hares evolved on Earth more than 50 million years ago. Will Dürer's depiction outlast them and us as we drive most life to unrepentant extinction? What irony if this painting outlives the creature it depicts, with no one left to admire it? So now for a father's poem to his son. I am sorry, my son. I am sorry, my son, we have left you a mess. We have befouled the air, we have sullied the land, we have warmed the oceans, burning fossil fuels, heating the atmosphere, melting the polar ice. I am sorry, my son, we have left you a mess. We have changed the climate, the forests are on fire, hurricanes are raging, flooding becomes rampant, islands just disappear, drought kills our crops and us. I am sorry, my son, we have left you a mess. We have left you no time to correct the damage, no path to change the course. Alea jacta est. The tipping point is past. We will become extinct. Part 2. I am sorry, my son. We have left you a mess. Find another planet to begin life again with new and wiser ways. Save yourselves, your children. Save what remains of life and leave us to perish. I am sorry, my son. We have left you a mess. We are the guilty ones. So the next poem, also from Extinction Rebellion, focuses on the devastating greed and incompetence of our leaders. It's called Crepuscular Shadows. Crepuscular shadows cavort on the wall, pirouetting in a ballet of rot, choreographed by Emperor Nero, Caligula, and leaders of their ilk, who fiddle as wildfires scorch Mother Earth, and floods and storms ravage our sustenance. These kings are self-centered, and like Midas, give all to get gold to add to their hoards, and pursue perverse illicit pleasures, while drought destroys our crops, our children starve, our trails and roads become raging rivers, and our homes and cities are washed away. What future is there for my grandchildren? What hope is there for human life on earth? Now, every New Year's Day, I love to listen to the concert broadcast from Vienna with many of the Strauss family's beautiful pieces of music. This year, I was particularly moved by a waltz entitled Wo die Zitronen blühen, Where the Lemons Blossom. Where the lemons blossom. Lemons still blossom, and not just in Italy. They thrive in Assam, in Burma and Persia, as well in California and Florida. You can hear Strauss's Wo die Zitronen blühen waltz today on your iPhone anywhere in the world, or read the novel by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, his masterpiece, Wilhelm Meister's Apprenticeship. You can delight in Manet's exquisite still life, Le Citron, painted in 1880. But will lemons, will anything still bloom anywhere when man-caused climate change ravages this planet? Will we be around to appreciate this fruit, so perfect, its blossom's beauty, its taste tartness, and the wonder of the sublime art it inspired? So thank you all for listening to this reading. As I mentioned at the beginning, there will be a separate reading of more recent poems relating to the terrible times we are living. But meanwhile, please stay healthy and safe, and see you again.